I would like, while I get everything going here, go ahead and tell me your name and who you are in this story.
Okay. Mary Castens, and I am Zachary Anderson's mother.
How do I spell out your name?
Marykasten's.
Okay. So, Mary, talking about your son, let's go ahead and talk about his disappearance. He was last seen, what, a couple of years ago?
January 18th of 2017.
What do you know about the case?
He was in Topeka, Kansas, and he had gone up there on Tuesday, the 16th, with a couple of friends. Just happened to, they said they were going to the casino and would he like to go? And he said yes. So ended up going up there. And that was on Tuesday. And then Wednesday evening, Wednesday night, I believe it was about 10 o'clock, in front of the Ramada Inn in Topeka. That was the last time they saw him. They had kind of gone separate ways, and I'm not certain why, what all was involved. But one of the concerning things to us is that no one reported him missing until Friday.
Okay, yeah.
So, we were 2 days in, and, they didn't tell his family, they didn't tell us. So we found out on Friday the 20th, and it's a little shocking when someone calls and tells you they can't find your kid. Even though they're a grown adult, they're still your kid,
What went through your head then?
First, it's disbelief of, no, they're going to come back. They're an adult. He just went and, I don't know, whatever they might have been doing. But then as time goes on, you start feeling that shock of, this might be real. And I don't know, mother's intuition, I think, was a big thing for me. I've always been just tight-knit with all of my children, and can tell when something's wrong. So you're in a daze, and disbelief and shock, and trying to figure out what you need to do to find this person, and there's no hard, fast help for you. No one tells you what you need to do to help find a missing person, So I called all the hospitals in Topeka, everywhere I could think of that he might have ended up, and they did not have him. I called the police, and I reported him over the phone to them. And my husband and I had went up there to try and talk to them on Sunday, and one of the frustrating things was the officer at the front desk there was not helpful at all. Just kind of dismissed us, and said we'd have to call Monday and talk to one of the detectives assigned to the case. So that was
the feel for a good part of that for you?
Yes, it's been very disheartening and frustrating by the fact, I want to be honest, my son was a heroin addict. And as a mom, that hurts anyways, when you find out that they're doing all of those things. But and that the choices that they make kind of lead them, may have led him to where we're at this moment in time. But I think that I kind of just got the feeling from the first detective and the police officers that were assigned to this case that they didn't really care, because of his lifestyle that he had fallen into. And I want to preface the fact he's a sweet, kind-hearted person, and a father and a son and a brother. And drugs make people do things that they shouldn't be doing. And, I don't know the exact what he was doing at that moment in time when he went missing. So for us, that's very painful, and, that unknown, there's no end to what happened to him, and where he's at. So I think the biggest frustration for us is it felt like nobody really cared that he went missing. And I think every person deserves to be found. I don't care what their lifestyle is. Everybody has made bad decisions and choices in their life. I'm a nurse. I've taken care of a lot of patients with addiction problems and tried to talk to them about my story and my situation and how I don't want them to end up like my son, and they're hurting their parents and other folks around them, not you know, not only themselves.
Right.
And I think one of the other frustrating things for us is I hadn't heard anything from detectives, and I tried to call and get information on his case and where we were going with this. And I couldn't get a hold of the detective. And so finally, I caught a hold of the chief of police in Topeka and told him, I was frustrated and my concerns. And they had gotten back with me and said that they had assigned another detective to his case in August of 2017. And this was December of 2017. And no one had told us. So I think that was a little frustrating. I just feel like they should let you know when another detective or your case has been assigned to someone else.
Right.
We found out that his case the first detective had put his case inactive in April of 2017, and he'd only been missing since January. So
Just a matter of months.
we went all these months without nobody looking for him, and not telling us that they weren't looking for him. And so that was I'm not gonna lie, we were angry, and I'm still angry.
Sure.
I'm angry at a lot of things. I'm upset because of the choices that he's made. I'm upset with nobody really telling us what to do and how to help, and just feeling like they never looked for him. But the detective on his case now has been very good. She keeps in contact with me, and unfortunately, there's no leads or anything. But we just want to know where he's at.
I mean, for me, like I told you, I don't hold judgment on stuff like, you're right. He's, a son, he's a dad, and, there's more to him than just drugs.
Yes.
And I think that's so important for everybody to know. With all these people, everyone, you're right, everyone has a past. And there's more than just that person being missing. It's their family. It's so much. And I'm sure it's changed things for you. Obviously, your perspective.
Yes. I can say my other children, we're not the same people we were. You try to act like nothing's going on in your life and you move on because you have to. That's how the world goes. You can't just curl up in a ball and not live, because I know he wouldn't want me to be that way. But you're not the same person. I don't handle stress as well anymore, and my other children, and I was this way before, is like, let me know where you're at, and they're all grown adults with children.
Right.
And if they go out of town, I freak out.
Sure.
It's like, tell me where you're at. I know you're an adult, but I need to know you're okay. Because I couldn't handle it again.
Tell me more about him. So, I know he has a daughter. What I had heard, I think, from your other son is that he was shopping, for a birthday gift for her.
Yeah, he had bought a bear for her birthday, and it was in the people he was with, their car. But he had bought that at Dillon's in Topeka.
Okay.
And
so that's where that Dillon's reference came from.
Yes.
On the flyer,
Yes.
So.
And
Okay.
the Sacker is the one that contacted us through the
No
Facebook
way.
page that we had put up,
Oh my gosh.
and said she remembered the tattoo he has on his neck, and him saying, my name's Zach, or telling her his name and saying that he was buying this for his daughter. And so we know he was coming home. So that's another, he wasn't going to run away.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to run off. And so.
And for her too, that's so sweet to think of her.
Yeah.
Just out,
Yeah.
with friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
What kind of dad was he like for?
He loved her. He did everything with her. Wanted to spend every moment that he could with her. Her mom and him were not together anymore, but he took her fishing, took her to the park, to the zoo, just loved her unconditionally. And like I said, he was a kind-hearted, sweet person. And, you know, life took him, the choices that he made just took him down a wrong path. But he was still a good dad through all of it.
That's amazing, though. That's really good. So part of the reason why I'm doing this story this week is talking about like how the state, I mean, I know Zach's case is listed, like the Department of Justice, they have their NamUs database where they have missing people. A lot of those cases are kind of older, so like your son's being, you know, a couple years old, it's on there. They're doing this thing where, and I assume that his will be on there, I mean, I'm sure it will, but like all the missing people in Kansas are going to be listed on this database. So then it's there, but I think so it's also updated continuously. One thing that for me as a journalist, I always struggle with getting good information from police, and it's probably because, I mean, they juggle with a lot of different things, and missing people, I feel, as I'm sure you feel, may not be a big priority for them, at least especially if they're an adult. But how do you feel about that, to know that the state's trying? I mean, they've been working on this for months. They were supposed to release it actually last year, but I don't know what the delay has been, but I guess I'll find out tomorrow when I talk with them.
I think that's a great thing that they're doing. You know, just to have everybody in one place. And, you know, that's one thing that's been amazing to me is I can't believe how many missing people there are. That have just like fallen off the face of the earth, and someone knows about every single one of these people. That would be my plea for anybody that sees this, is if you know anything about any of these people, not just my son, please tell someone. It's not a good feeling. I mean, it's, you know, it's very painful to live with that every day, trying to figure out where they're at and find them. But I think that's a great thing. I know my son, they took DNA from myself and dental records and put it in the NamUs system.
Which is great.
Yeah, in the National Missing Persons Database. But for Kansas, for us being a home, you know, this is our home, for them to make that database, I think is a great thing, where people can just get in there and look through there maybe and see, oh my gosh, I know that person, I know what happened to them, I remember seeing them, or...
And then it's just accurate, you know, like, in theory, like if it is updated, I know like other states like Missouri, they have one, it's run through their highway patrol, and they go, and it's updated, like, I think it's in real time, so the moment a case is taken off, it's off that system. So then the ones that are missing, and that, so like, I've had times where I've shared stories of people who they're found, or I don't know, and it's taken me, like I said, almost 2 weeks to find out. I'm like, that's kind of unexcusable. And I reached out for like 4 different members of like Wichita Police to get an update on one case, and I'm like, this should not take that long.
No.
I mean, I understand things pop up and whatever, or you know, you miss an email, and that's fine. But I'm like, oh my gosh, like what if this were like a desperate situation where we needed information on someone who was missing? This was someone who was found, so it was less. I wasn't as worried about it personally, but I'm like, gosh, it shouldn't be that
hard.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
Yeah.
So hopefully this will make good things for everybody.
Yes. So. My hope with that is that they do keep on top of it and update.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I think it'll probably be a while before it gets good, but it's a start.
It is, and I think it's great that they're doing it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you think is important to say about Zach's case? I mean, I promise I'll do everything to do it right. I promise you that.
Thank you.
Like I said, I felt like, you know, I could just share simply the story of the state doing this database or whatever, but I'm like, no, let's put a story of one of the people out there, and let's highlight it again. I mean, I know I've mentioned his story before, but, you know, we'll get a better picture, we'll do all that, and just, you never know what will pop up. I mean, obviously the people who are with him probably know the most.
Yes.
But you never know. Maybe they talk to somebody.
Yes.
Or someone like that person at the grocery store, you know.
Yes.
Remembers, because at least he had something distinguishing in his tattoo. So
yes.
Stuff like that I think is good.
Yes.
It helps, I think. So,
yeah. I think, you know, just knowing the little bits and pieces we know of the time that he was there. And I mean, I think that's, I had contacted the young lady that he was with and asked a bunch of questions of her.
Yeah.
And I got the same answers that detectives had gotten.
Okay.
So nothing that stood out that was different.
Sure.
But I wish there was more that we knew. It's just like he fell off the face of the earth and disappeared. And somebody somewhere knows something. Somebody in Topeka knows something.
Yeah.
But it was 10 o'clock in the evening.
Sure.
Time frame-ish, but